Hello, everybody. Hi. I don't know who's tuned in yet, but I'm director Ronin James here at Deadsville Studios. I am the co-writer and director of Amityville Barbi, the movie upcoming. And yesterday I got asked a question, how did we come up with this concept? So yeah, today I'm gonna do a little video, and you guys can join me here. I probably won't always be looking directly at the camera. I feel like you guys are kind of far away too. Let's move it in a bit closer. There we go. How's that? Much better. Okay. There we go. Now I feel like I'm having a nice chat with you. We'll bring up something here on the cover. You can see a shot of Jessa Flux's Amityville Barbi here in the background, squaring off with Corey Fackler. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I believe I have the sound on. I haven't checked yet. I'll bring my chat up. Warren, there he is. What's up, Warren? How you doing, man? The man that asked the question himself. Let me make sure that everything is working properly here. Make sure that I'm live, and I'll share this on a couple pages. Hang with me. Stacy. Let's see. Why am I not listed as on? Oh, there we go. There I am. Yeah, I have sound. All right. And Warren answered me too. All right. Hang in there, guys. I will join you momentarily. I'm going to share this a couple places. Feel free to start asking questions in the comments, and I'll get to them. I know the first thing I'm going to address is Warren's question from yesterday. We're going to talk about how we came up with the concept for Amityville Barbi very shortly here once I get this shared. Put it on the page. Feel free to send stars, all that fun stuff. Obviously, everything helps. We have an Indiegogo still going. We hit our goal, and we are in demand now. So you can still back the project. We are prepping for our second shoot that will feature our co-stars, Amber Brooke and Mark Haynes. If you're not familiar, you can check out some of their previous work. Amber's done some fan films and a couple other horror movies that are coming out very soon. And Mark Haynes was just in Stream, if you got a chance to see that in the theaters. He played player number 4, the modern slasher. And it comes to streaming, God, I think it's the 16th. I should know this. It comes to streaming very soon, so you can check it out there. Stream comes to streaming. One of the killers, Mark Hayes, is in Amityville Barbi with us. So you'll get to see him play Basmodius in full Deado makeup. Should I show you some Deado makeup behind us if you haven't seen it yet? There's Corey Fackler in Deado makeup. Oh, I'm blocking him. There he is. Looking rather dapper. And his awesome makeup by Izzy Isel. I should move this way. This way you can see him. There we go. All right, let's see. So, Yeah, we're going to have Warren. Warren's going to do a little stunt for us. Warren's going to join us. He lives in the North Jersey, New York area, and he's worked on a couple things. He's been following the film, so we're gonna bring him in and get him a little stunt experience. Get his feet wet. He'll do a little fall or something. It'll be something simple, but yeah, we have a bar fight coming up. So you're welcome, Warren. We appreciate you coming down and working with us. Let's talk about how we came up with the concept for Amityville Barbi. And maybe I'll show you a clip. There's no music or anything. I'm still in the process of editing and putting our cut together, but there's a little sneak peek. All right, here's how we came up with Amityville Barbi. Oh shit! Thanks, Les. Les Price sending stars. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Les will be featured in Amityville Barbi as well, playing Tony Octane. We will have a little side shoot for his character coming up soon as well, while we wait for nicer weather and prep for our main shoot in the spring. The main shoot takes place at a barbecue, so we have to do that once the weather breaks and gets a little nicer. Hopefully my sound is okay here. I got the lav mic on. Hopefully I don't rub it too much. I was going to make some coffee here too. You guys can join me for my instant coffee. How did we come up with the idea? So we decided we wanted to do a feature, and we have a couple concepts that we have bouncing around right now. And we already did the sitcom with Dickie Devil. We did it twice, actually, because we decided to recast Doggy Deviant. So instead of just dropping him into episode 2, we just reshot episode 1. We learned a lot on episode 1 the first time around. So going back and doing it a second time, we made it better, I feel. Now it has to get through the rest of post-production because it's a lot of work, and it's just me working on it. So it's still in post-production hell. One of our producers bailed on us on that one, just went MIA off them. Actually, 2 of them, because one of them was one of the band members as well, and one of the co-stars of the show. Decided to leave the band after we shot everything. He was also one of the main guys behind the scenes on the crew. He was a cameraman, and it just once that happened, it was everything kind of slowed, because it all fell on me by myself to literally do everything with editing, compositing, effects, audio, and it was a lot of work, and it's like 30% complete, I guess. There's our update on Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries. It's probably about 30% complete, and eventually I will get it done and we'll get it out there, but the urgency for it isn't there. We have other stuff that we also want to do, and Amityville Barbi, we wanted to do a feature. We were like, fuck it, we got to do a feature. We're doing one. So we decided, bouncing a couple ideas around, and Amityville Barbi was the one that stuck. So how did we come up with it? Well, I was doing reviews of all these movies for Deadsville Horror Talk that were obvious IP cash grabs, when like the Winnie the Pooh stuff, and all the Mickey Mouse stuff then became a thing, and now the Steamboat Willie stuff. Now everybody's making a Steamboat Willie movie. So while I hated it, and most of them because they were shitty, and were literally just like cash grabs trying to make a name for themselves off the IP, I did see the value in using something like that to make money, to make a sequel, or to make another movie, to make a movie that would be more of our original IP ideas. To get the money to make the originals, you go and you make these, cash grab ripoff bullshits at first. So that was like what got the wheels turning in my head first. Seeing this being done, seeing this as a thing and a way to get films. You go out there with your production company and you make this little Mickey Mouse ripoff or Winnie the Pooh ripoff or Tigger, whoever the hell it is. It's the same thing as doing fan films, except you can actually sell these when they're parodies or spoofs or fall under public domain. So fan films you can't sell. If you take a character and you make a movie that is true to that character's everything, like real story that somebody else has already written, then that's somebody else's IP. You can't do that. That's a fan film. And fan films are fine to get in. You would make a name for yourself doing fan films. We did one. I worked on a G.I. Joe fan film with Mark Chang years ago that blew up because it was around the same time that the first G.I. Joe Hollywood movies, live action movies came out, and they sucked. And ours had comic accurate costumes, action figure accurate costumes, and all that kind of stuff, and was much more in the spirit of the actual comics and toys that we grew up on than the Hollywood bullshit was. So we wound up getting contacted by Larry Hama and getting some funding to go and shoot another movie called Ghost Source Zero, which you can watch now on Amazon Prime and probably Tubi and a few other places. But that was all because we did that fan film and got some recognition and notoriety from that. So that was the way to do stuff before. Now you have these IPs that are falling under public domain, like Winnie the Pooh and Steamboat Willie. So horror is perfect for taking that. I mean, honestly, you could have done these without the IP being free, being public domain, because it's a parody, because Steamboat Willie isn't actually a horror character. He's a kid's cartoon. So technically, all this stuff, if you really want to push the envelope, is parody, and that's what we wound up doing with Barbie. So we wanted to do, well, the Amityville stuff is just ridiculous. There's so many fucking Amityville movies. So we decided to do a horror parody, a horror comedy, a spoof somewhat, spoofing the Amityville stuff, spoofing a lot of the slasher tropes and stuff that we grew up on, spoofing celebs and Hollywood stuff that we like to poke fun at. We decided to do the whole spoof thing. So Amityville was going to be in there. We were going to make because there's so many bad Amityville movies. It's like, you know what? And my co-writer, Barbie was the big thing at the time. It's everywhere. And, pink is dominating. And I was like, man, I think I was either taking a shit or I was in the shower. And I had just gotten done, reviewing the latest trailer from Winnie the Pooh 2. And I was like, man, we should do this Amityville. And I seen trailers for Amityville in space and all this other crap. And I was like, Amityville Barbie. Barbie just goes, what if Barbie moved into the Amityville house? Instead of the Barbie dream house, it's the Barbie Amityville house. And that's kind of where it started. And strangely enough, taking a shit or showering. It was one of the two. I do my best thinking in the bathroom, though, apparently. So then it turned into, how can we do this? Is this going to be legal? Can we get away with doing this? Are we going to get sued doing this? Was the first questions. There was a ton of questions that came up, of course. So all the questions started popping up. And so we started looking into stuff. And obviously, if we're using the Barbie name, we were like, okay, let's drop the E. We won't use the font. We'll do certain things. We'll just call it Barbie a name. And, they don't own the name Barbie. They just own the font. They own the likeness, all that kind of stuff. So we had to come up with a way to use it. And parody is completely fair use under the law. It is totally fair use under the law to parody something. And Mattel, Barbie has been used in parody before. There is a track record for it, and Mattel has sued people, artists, musicians. I don't know about filmmakers yet, but they tried to sue the music video makers for the song Barbie Girl by Aqua. That's the biggest, most famous precedent for parody out there, and in particular for Barbie. So when we saw Mattel lost all of their suits, but especially the one for the Aqua music video where they parodied Barbie, we were like, you know what? We could totally do this as a parody. We can parody Barbie because she's not a demon hunter. She doesn't fight zombies or anything like that. And it's comedy. It's totally played for laughs. So that being the case, we, just like Aqua's music video and their song, and they won in court, we just took the same approach. So the original idea, I mean, the name just rolls off the tongue. So we wanted to stick with the name. We were like, man, that's something people would like. Everybody loves Barbie. People know Amityville as these schlocky, terrible fucking movies that just won't go away. So let's use that as our title. So that's how the title came about. Obviously, we wanted to riff on an IP, parody some shit, and make fun of the Amityville crap that is all over the place. So there was the name. So the original idea was that Barbie and Ken have to move. Ken blows up the dream house and they have to move, and they move to Amityville, and they move into the Amityville house, and they don't realize it. And yeah, so it's the Amityville house, Barbie versus the undead. But then it slowly dawned on me. I was like, I don't want to make a piece of shit. I don't want to write some stupid, crappy. I want this to actually be pretty good. There's a lot of potential here for some fun and some good laughs and tons of stunts, because I've been a stunt coordinator for so long. I have tons of stunt people I can draw on to come in and work, and rigging and all that kind of stuff that we could do very cheaply, because I rig all this stuff myself, and I have friends that do that stuff, and we train people here, and we do all that stuff. So I have people that we can use, we can bring in and make a lot of that stuff happen. Special effects, we want to be practical as much as possible for all the gore and blood and stuff like that. So we have friends that do that stuff. Let's lean into that as well, obviously. And we started drawing on some of our other, if we were drawing on Barbie and we were drawing on Amityville, let's draw on some of the other inspirations. And slowly things started to fall into place. That just made so much sense as we started doing the outline and coming up with plot ideas and subplots and character development and everything else. We were like, man, this all really kind of fits together really well. And so it all became this amalgamation of pop culture that Steph and I and most of our crew and most of you there watching hopefully grew up on. There's not going to be anything, there's no reinventing the wheel going on here. We're just going to take a whole bunch of stuff that we love. We're going to cram it together into this movie. We're going to make it a shit ton of fun with like hot ladies, hot dudes, and tons of crazy stunts, breakaways, practical gore and effects, and yeah, poke fun at a lot of stuff too. And if we make a name for ourselves along the way, that's great, because then we can go and do these other IPs that we have waiting in the wings that we don't have funding for, that we can get funding for if this thing is a big hit. So we shall see. We also have a sequel plan for this thing now. So this ends on a cliffhanger. Sorry to disappoint anybody that was hoping this would be like a one and done self-contained film, but we have a sequel already kind of planned. We end on a cliffhanger that will lead us into our sequel, and it also plays off of our inspirations. So I'll talk about some of the inspirations here. I'll say check in, because we got a lot of people watching. Gina Martino checking in, our casting director. She says, Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries is just in purgatory for now. Correct. It will see the light of day at some point. It's just a lot of work for one person. Maybe we do a crowdfunder, an Indiegogo for that, for finishing funds for it, because it's like a third finished. I just don't have the time to do it all myself. So if I could hire out some people to help with the post-production on it, maybe we do a separate one for that soon-ish. Amityville Barbi is our priority. So, we're in production and rocking and rolling on that one. Steph Infection checking in. Greetings, Scream Hearts are currently flying in the plane to Orlando on Wi-Fi. Alexandra checking in. Surface checking in. Hi, Alexandra, our PA. And, man, Alexandra was awesome as our caterer, meal prep for scene one. She was above and beyond. Zeb Borges checking in. What's up, Zeb? Winnie of Doom. Gina says, who doesn't love all things pink, right? Jerry Watts checking in. Hey, Joe. Dude, you are so right about the Amityville movies, Warren Harris Jr. says. Stacy Lynn, one of our Stacy Lynn jumped in, volunteer makeup artist. Stacy does awesome work in special effects makeup. Speaking of practical effects, Stacy jumped in on day 2 of Amityville Barbi with Izzy Isel from Trauma Queen Effects and helped out on our deados. We will be talking soon about our November 17th shoot. We're going to bring our deados in we're going to have 3 on the November 17th shoot where we only had 2 on the first shoot. Dewey Deviant checking in. What's up, Dewey? Thanks for checking in. Warren Harris asked, if you could remake any movie, what would it be? Man, I'll get back to that. Warren, there's a few. There's a couple that I would like to remake. The Beastmaster would be one of them. I don't know if we could still do that with practical animals. Might be a little tough to get a trained tiger these days. I don't know if Peter will allow that to happen or not. I have to go CG on that one. But I'd love to do Beastmaster. Man, there's a few. I'll think about that, and I'll give some more answers shortly. But let's see. Oh, okay. So let's dive into some of our inspirations on this. Obviously, you're gonna get a heavy dose of Buffy the Vampire Slayer on this. So if you were into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you were going to absolutely love Amityville Barbi, because a huge chunk of what we're doing comes from that. It was like a no-brainer, and I was a huge Buffy fan of both the movies and the television show. I fucking love the television show. Maddie and I are going through and watching it season by season now because she's never seen it. And I'm trying to convert Steph Infection, who's like, I only like the movie. That's not my Buffy. All right. Well, guess what? Sarah Michelle Gellar was a kick-ass Buffy. So, yeah, we're going to win Steph over and get her to watch more of these episodes. But yeah, we're rewatching a lot of the episodes now, drawing some inspiration from it. The fight scenes were great. The makeup was really great on there. You'll notice that our deados, I should bring up Corey up here in deado. You can see, so we're calling them deados, and they have a very Buffy-esque brow, if you notice. But they are not vampires. This is more of what would happen if Buffy the Vampire Slayer was actually Ash. met Ash from the Evil Dead, except Ash was a woman too, and they had to get over their like petty female bickering to defeat the Necronomicon Pact. There's the movie. That's basically it. There's a lot of Sam Raimi in here. There's a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But we've also got a good dose of some old classics like Dusk Till Dawn. Some of the stuff where you had heavy practical effects and it was horror, but it was also kind of campy, lighthearted horror comedy. But then we're also going to throw in the celebrity kind of spoofing and parodying, because we have a bunch of celebrities that we're parodying. But the Barbies themselves are parodies. I mean, this is you know, I mean, even the Barbie movie kind of did it to an extent, but these are all Barbies of another universe, so to speak, alternate timeline, where these Barbies are, you know, they are all real models and actresses. They're real life people that are actress, models, fashionistas. We got our little clique of fashionistas that'll draw from Mean Girls, because Steph is a co-writer on this, so we had to have our Mean Girls in there. So everybody's got their, you know, their little piece that we pulled from. The fashionistas come from Mean Girls. Barbie herself comes from Buffy. Our co-star character, Ashley Williamson, is from Evil Dead. The Necronomicon Pact is from the Evil Dead, obviously. It's a direct riff. But our evil villain is drawn from Disney's Evil Queen, because our evil queen, you know, we have a female villain. We have a female hero, we have a female villain. We didn't want to do the tropey thing that everybody's doing these days and making the man, the patriarchy. It's already played out. Like, we get it. Men are bad, especially cis, white, hetero men are the devil. We're bad. We're awful. We're the worst things since round bread. I don't know. Unsliced bread, whatever, because sliced bread was so great, apparently. But white man bad. But that's the theme through the fucking horror movies lately. Everything that I'm fucking seeing. There's a bunch of them that come to mind. Remakes, Black Christmas, all that dumb bullshit, where it's just like every man in the movie is bad. And it would be very easy to do that. Duh, you could totally do that. But we're not doing that. We're not going to do that, because that's not, I mean, yes, that's part of it, but everybody's doing that, man. We're not going to do what everybody else is doing. Our theme, if you will, our message in this movie is more about women working together and teamwork. It's a teamwork movie, obviously, because you're going to have men in there too who have to be part of the team too. You got to have Kent and the Kents and the Kents and his little crew of people, and some of our celebrity spoofs like Tony Octane, played by Les Price, who will be spoofing Vin Diesel, obviously. Hi, Foxy, walking across my workstation. Hop down there, sir. But it's a teamwork movie, and the main message here that we're going to get through is that, you know, sometimes women are their own worst enemies. And I'm not saying that as a man. I'm saying as a co-writer with a woman co-writer who said it, who said, hell yeah, this is our theme. This is what we're doing. We are one. This is how it's going. So, yeah, that's our theme. We're going to kind of overcome. This is a woman power movie, but it's not just woman power over the patriarchy. Sure, there's going to be evil men. There's going to be good men too, because there's always allies out there. Ladies, you have even some cis white hetero men are allies out there. I know it's crazy, mind blowing, but some of us are allies. So yeah, this is our theme that we're working with. And yeah, when you have the Necronomicon Pact, a mirror used for women to make themselves look good and to check their appearance and everything like that, they usually be very vain in it. It made sense to draw from Disney's Evil Queen and the whole mirror on the wall thing. So, mirror in my hand, who's the fairest in the land? That will be the catchphrase of our big bad villainess. So you heard it here first. And this is dated and timestamped. So if somebody else steals my fucking line, I'll know. We'll know. All right. So yeah, that's where a lot of our themes come from. Old school movies, and you know, we're giving it that new spin, but it's definitely going to have a campy 80s kind of feel to it. The lighting is kind of 80s-ish already in the opening scene, as you see, and you know, we're playing with silly wigs, and Corey here with his great, I mean, Corey is chewing scenery here. Corey Fackler is one of our stunt deados. He's also our fight choreographer for this thing. And if I would have known he was such a great actor and great deado, I would have kept him alive more in the movie. Spoiler, he gets killed in the opening scene. So, oh man. But yeah. So you get to see some campiness. Our deados talk. They fucking, they're like Evil Dead deados. So we got to have fun with that. I'm gonna go check back in here. Let's see. Steph is back. Warren Harris says, honestly, I was always more a fan of the movie than the show, talking about Buffy. I love the movie too, don't get me wrong, but there was just more of the show. The show went for so many seasons. It was so much a bigger part of my life growing up than the movie was, because we only got one movie. And how many times? I mean, I watched it a bunch. I still watch it. I go back and rewatch it not long ago. But I mean, Buffy had season after season after season. Then that spinoff with Angel, and I watched all that shit too, man. It was like, it's hard to say like one is better than the other. There's just so much of the TV show that and again, being a fan and somebody who watched it all my life, it just encompassed a larger portion of my life, and like it was like knowing those characters, growing with those characters and everything through all those seasons. It was like supernatural. Like, they've made some great movies that were supernatural-esque, but man, so many seasons of Supernatural. You grow to love the characters. You go through their ups and downs, and it's a little different than a movie where you only, you're in a very, hour and a half, 2 hour max kind of self-contained one sitting experience, So I hate comparing the two. I love them both, and I hate comparing the two because usually what happens is people who love the movie haven't watched the show or haven't watched the entirety of the show. So if you haven't even watched the show, how can you compare the two? And if you haven't experienced the full arc of the show from beginning to end, how can you compare the two? It's kind of unfair. So I kind of always see them as separate entities, even though the show really is like a pickup from the movie. Like, she is still Buffy. She moved from California to Sunnydale, where there was a Hellmouth, and they could kind of continue the storyline there. So, yeah, I mean, I always thought it was a great way to continue the lore and to continue the life of the character and really explore it way more. And there's comic books out there and everything else. You guys got to bear with me. I got to get a cup of coffee if we're going to stay and do this a little longer. And I'm down to keep chatting as long as you guys are watching. So feel free to ask more questions. Yes, I drink instant coffee. This shit is awesome. There we go. It's this new Nescafe Gold Espresso, not just coffee, espresso. So a little stronger. My afternoon pickup before I get back to editing our opening scene here. So let's go back here. Anthony Noble checking in. What's up, Anth? Checking in with us on YouTube. Says, what's up? Angel is better than Buffy. I loved Angel. Hard to say. I don't know. I mean, I think with Angel, because it was more of like an adult, like Buffy started out and it was like the whole high school thing. So if you were, there was a lot of creepiness looking back at it. When we're going back and watching it now, it's very creepy. I mean, it's the same kind of thing with Twilight and Jacob being this like 1,000-year-old vampire and she's like underage. Go. So it's kind of borderline. Angel, I think it was a little easier to watch because it was all adults. By that time, they were all out of school, even like Cordelia and all that. They were, Cordelia kind of looked like an adult, the actress, even when she was in school. She was definitely like senior, kind of, she was definitely over 18, playing under 18 at that time. But I think Buffy was like 16 when she started on the show, Sarah Michelle Gellar. And yeah, I think Angel dealt with some more mature stuff, obviously. I think it was for a more I think it was for the older crowd that was kind of growing out of Buffy, maybe. It was like a detective kind of show too, with Angel kind of establishing that detective agency and kind of looking, doing like the supernatural detective agency thing. So yeah, I really dug Angel too. I thought it was awesome. I thought they brought in some really good characters. I loved Cordelia. I always loved Cordelia, even when she was a bitch, when she was the mean girl on the show. I still like. She was still fun. You have to have that personality. You have to, like, everybody can't get along. Everybody can't, because that's not real life. Everybody isn't exactly the same, or everybody doesn't fit into the, into the group perfectly. You gotta have a couple upstarts. I'm the asshole in my group usually because I'm the big mouth. So I'm the one that can sit here and talk for 37 minutes straight. Oh, all right. Let's check back over here. Doyle's death hurt. Yes. Man, I remember Doyle. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot that I liked about Angel. Man, I got to go back. Yeah, we're going to have to watch that after we finish Buffy. Warren Harris said, if there's any show based on a movie that I love, it would have to be Hannibal. I never watched Hannibal. And I know everybody says it's awesome, and I'm sure it is. But yeah, I mean, I like Silence of the Lambs. I also didn't find Silence of the Lambs to be a horror movie, to be honest with you. I found it to just be more of like a psychological thriller, or like a crime thriller, more than a horror movie. I didn't feel like it was really a horror movie. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really watch Hannibal. I didn't get into it. So sorry, it wasn't on my radar. Anthony says Cordelia's finer than aged wine. Or said I was 7 when the Buffy movie came out. Man. Steph Infection followed up with, shut your mouth. I love Sarah. I just didn't watch it when it aired because it wasn't my Buffy. Nah. It wasn't my Buffy. She's my Buffy, damn it. They'll both be my Buffys. They could all be my Buffys, right? There's room for more than one Buffy. There's room for more than one Slayer. It was funny how this, it was always like, one Slayer chosen a generation. And then all of a sudden we had like we had the African Slayer, the Voodoo Slayer chick come in. She popped up when Buffy died in season, I think it was 2. We just watched that one. Then we had Faith come, and Faith was a Slayer. It was always one chosen. And then by the end, she was giving out the Slayers to everybody. So it literally at the end became what we're doing. Well, kind of what we're doing in Barbie, because there's multiple Slayers in Barbie. And are Deado Slayers. It's like a whole secret society of Deado Slayers. So there are multiple. That's why we have Barbie and Ashley Williamson, who are going to butt heads at the beginning. But just like every great comic book superhero team up, they will start off button heads, but eventually team up to save the day. Or will they? Oh, yes. Excuse me while I drink a little coffee. All right, let's see. Steph says, boo, you whore. Yes. Boo me. Warren says, I agree with you on that, but Hannibal had some gruesome bits to it. Yeah, I did. I heard they like upped some of the gore in Hannibal too. So maybe I'll have to check it out at some point, or at least go and check some of the like kills out on it and some of the practical effects, because I do love that stuff. I love special effects. I love practical effects. So yeah, I'll have to take a look at that stuff. One of the reasons we wanted to do a practical effects movie, because I've done plenty of action shorts. I'm a fucking stunt coordinator for 20 years. I've done action movies. I've coordinated tons of action. I've directed action. I've done plenty of action stuff. We're incorporating it because we have plenty of stunts and action we can incorporate, but I really want to do some practical effects. Usually when you're on set, and I know because this happened on my set, I always complain about it, and it happened on my set, and there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing I was powerless to stop it from happening because time is against you. Stunts and practical effects are first things that get cut. When you're running out of time and you got to and you're starting to edit shots out, and you're like, oh, we got to edit some stuff. The shots that get edited first usually are the ones that include stunts and practical effects because they don't necessarily move the story along. Story is usually character driven, and the big elaborate stunts can always be scaled down to keep the story moving forward. Case in point. And I swore I wasn't going to let it happen on my set, but it did because you just don't have the time, especially when you're using professional lighting. Like if, and I realize this now, if I would have done this movie by myself, I have a 4K camera, I have lighting equipment, I have sound gear, I have all that stuff. I could have grabbed my close friends and my close production friends and people nearby, and we could have done this thing and probably shot the entire movie for what we made in our first campaign. I mean, we could have, but it would have looked like shit. It would have looked like, because I'm not a gaffer. I'm not a grip. I don't do lighting. That's not me. See that? Now it's on a screen that's only in HD. It's not 4K because trying to watch playback in 4K is slow stuff down sometimes, so we watch it in 1080 unless we're going in to actually fine tune. So, but you don't get that kind of lighting and shadowing and stuff like that when you just walk into a room with a camera, pop up 2 fucking lights and 1 subject light and start shooting. You know, this stuff takes time, and that's what kills you, the time in between takes. We would blast through takes quick. We would get 6 takes once lighting was set, once camera was set, once everything was set, when makeup touch-ups. We had times when deados weren't ready to go on the camera, or one was ready and the other one wasn't, so we had to split up shoots, or we had to split up shots where we'd have them both in. We'd be like, we don't have both of them ready. Let's do a shot of just him. We'll pick him up later when he's ready. And then we were adding a shot, and we end up just, deleting shots anyway. But that's how it goes, because you're always racing against the clock, and you only have your locations for so much time. You only have your crew for so much time. Everybody costs money when they're there for all that time. Our crew was big. We had a big crew. But yeah, I mean, I could have ran around with just my little 4K camera and shot this thing on my own rig. I got a gimbal. I got all that stuff. To do the prosumer thing with with my Lumix, and still be 4K, and it would still look semi decent, but it wouldn't look cinematic fucking decent. So that's why we go the extra, and we bring in a crew. A professional crew that I've worked with multiple times that have things like a red Komodo 6K camera, and that have a whole G&E truck that they roll up with. They have a jib arm so we can get top-down shots, and all these fucking awesome things that you have on real big budgeted movie sets. So we didn't want this to be your normal Amityville movie just shot in somebody's house or somebody's backyard with no lighting, just run and gun. We wanted real sound, we wanted real lighting, we wanted a real fucking camera, a cinematic camera. I have cinematic lenses. I can get a cinematic look on my 4K Lumix, but actually my Lumix shoots in 6K too. But when I hire a director of photography like Wes Malott, he comes with not only the red Komodo, but years of experience behind the lens, multiple lenses, all his cinematic lenses. He's got he's got tripods, but he's also got the the chest rig and everything. So he has like a Steadicam rig with the overhead. You get all those things that are going to just make your final product look way more polished and professional and look more like a real movie that you could put up on a screen in a theater, not necessarily just shove it onto Tubi or Screenbox or Freevee or any of these other kind of like free to watch with ad streaming services now that really don't care what quality shit they put up there. They're just starved for content. They want more content that they could throw out there. So yeah, we went a higher end route with this stuff. Alex said the jib was the coolest fucking thing. Yeah, the jib arm. Yeah, the jib arm was really cool. And it takes a bit to set up. And as you saw, that's one of the things that we run into. Because once it goes up, it has to come back down to reset. You hit record and that thing goes up. And then every cut in between, it gotta come back down and go back up, or you just get a super long take in between that you have to go in and chop up a whole bunch. So let's see. Art is not always an easy process. Oh, damn, don't we know it, Warren? Alexandra asks, do you have a favorite stunt you've ever done? Yes, we'll put that up on the screen. I'll answer this one now. I forgot I could do this here because I haven't been really paying attention to my laptop there. I've been talking to the camera. My favorite stunt, it's probably the window on Gotham because it's the most badass. I jumped out a third-story window in New York City on the TV show Gotham while I was doubling for the supervillain, the Executioner, played by Michael Chiklis. And these were big stories too. This is an old like court building, so each story was like, I was probably 40, 50 feet up in the air, and then the airbag's like 9 feet. So it was well over a 30 to 40 foot drop. And I had to run and jump blindly through a breakaway window on that one. So usually, a lot of times when you're doing a high fall, you can just stand at the edge and you see your airbag or your box rig or your crash pad, your porta pit, whatever it is that you're falling into, you can spot your landing from wherever your takeoff point is. But on this particular one, I'm running on a platform and jumping out of a breakaway window. So I am only getting to spot my landing once I'm already jumped and pretty much through the window. So I just kind of had to calculate everything, and it was a big airbag, so I wasn't too worried. I was excited to do it, and yeah, it went by so quick. The director came running out after it was done. They, Jay, you okay? And I gave the thumbs up through the airbag while they're trying to get it down around me. And director comes running out of the tent like, oh, that was great. We got it. Oh, my God. That was amazing. And I'm like, you sure you don't want another one? I'd go do another one. I know it's a lot to rebuild that window again, but I got another one in me. But yeah, that was it. As scared I am of heights, yeah, I've had a blast doing a couple high falls. I hate heights, and some of my best gags have been high falls. So go figure. That was probably my most favorite. Gotham was probably my favorite gig. I got to fight the leads. I got a co-starring role on it. I got to play a biker on Gotham, and I had a couple lines, and I got to punch out a cop, and then I got to get knocked out by Harvey Bullock on camera. Had my name, said, co-starring Jay Green right there in the fucking opening credits. So that was pretty cool. Gotham was probably my best gig. Probably made the most money there. Yeah, I got to do some of the coolest stuff, some of my biggest gags there. Yeah, that was probably my favorite stunt gig, working on Gotham. So shout out to Norm Douglas for that one, stunt coordinator that hired me back in the day on that one. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, Alexandra asking what episode? God, it's I could look it up on IMDb. There's a few. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. But if you look up Jay Green, JaeGreene, my stage name for film and TV. Ronin's like my music name, but everybody in the music scene and horror scene knows me as Ronin because of my horror punk and obvious music affiliations. And staying in horror. Yeah, I'm directing as Ronin. So everybody calls me Ronin these days, especially now that I'm back in Philly again. Let's see. Somebody else had a question here. If Netflix or a streaming site offered to buy Amityville Barbi, would you sell it? I mean, I would let them put it on there. I wouldn't sell. So you don't sell the rights. You get it's a distribution deal with the streaming sites. They don't necessarily buy the rights to the movie other than to stream it if they wanted exclusive rights or something like that. I mean, anybody with the for the right amount of money, and if they're I mean, a big selling point would be if they're going to give us money to make the sequel. So that would be a big selling point for us, I guess, if I'm going to like seriously think about that kind of question right now at this point. If a streaming service, if we put this teaser out and streaming service is like, hey, we're interested in this, what's the deal? And they start asking us, well, if a streaming service is number one going to help us with finishing funds to get the rest of this movie done, because we're still in production now and we still have a long way to go. So that would be ideal. I mean, I have worked on movies before where, Sci-Fi Channel has bought the movie before it's even made. And they give you the funding to make the movie. I mean, that's not unheard of. And there are, that's how shorts get made. Made into features sometimes. A short will go win awards at festivals and be seen by some of these streaming sites or other industry professionals, and they'll say, "Oh, let's make a feature out of that," and they'll give them the funding to make the feature, and then they'll have the rights to distribute or to stream it or whatever the case may be. There'll be a producer, and they'll get something on the back end. There's a bunch of different ways you can get films funded these days and onto streaming sites. But yes, if this, that's the goal. If our teaser gets out there, creates a huge buzz, and people are like, wow, yeah, they're looking forward to seeing it. And we have a streaming site. I'm not going to say Netflix, but if we have like a Shudder or Screambox or somebody that wants to get the streaming rights to it, we will talk about, that would be my goal, is that they would want to fund the sequel, help us fund the rest of this one, and we could get it done. So that's how content gets made these days. Either way, we'll get it done because we'll keep this crowdfunding going. We'll keep paying out of our own pockets to get shoots done. We'll keep doing whatever we have to do. We'll do fundraisers. We'll do bikini car washes if we have to. I will show up in a bikini and wash your fucking car if we have to fund the rest of this movie. Because, we're in all the way on this. And we believe in the project. We believe in what we have so far. We have some great stuff here. I'm really excited for you guys to see some of this stuff. I'm tempted to just play a little clip here, but you're not going to get the full feel of it because there's no sound design done or anything yet, and it's still a very rough edit. So I don't want to give it away without having the full oomph behind it. So I'll spin this little dial and give you another. And there's Jessa and our Deado number 2, Anthony Hong, behind her. So what could be going on here? Why does Barbie have brown hair? What's going on? You'll have to wait and find out. Drew Miles Brown says, super excited for this movie. Love to hear the passion behind it. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate that. Yes, I'm very passionate about creating something that pays homage to all this stuff and doing a stunt heavy and practical effects heavy movie. Like, I love, again, obviously I talk about Terrifier 2, Stream, the whole Fuzz on the Lens team up in New York and North Jersey that is just doing groundbreaking stuff right now with what they're doing at the box office, with Art the Clown, with Terrifier, with going right up against these Hollywood blockbusters at the box office. It's fucking awesome. I love seeing it. And, we have some really good special effects artists in our area as well that we work with. But what we do well is stunts. Obviously, what I do well is stunts. So we're able to add high-level stunts, and I know a ton of stunt people that I've worked with and hired over the years, and especially like fight stuff, wire work stuff, like, and we could do it on a very minimal budget. That's the other great thing about Amityville Barbie is, like, because a lot of the creatives behind this are stunt people, we come with our own gear. I don't have to pay for my own rigging kit and rigger and utility stunt team when I have my own. All I have to pay for is my utility guys to come in and pull ropes for a couple days. I'll set everything up, or even Anthony and my guys. The benefit of being a longtime stunt coordinator is that I've done a lot of favors for people over the years and work with a lot of slim budgets. So I have people that owe me favors and people that I have helped out before. So they are looking to help out in return, and it is greatly appreciated. So we would not be off the ground without the help of a lot of people who I have come up in this business with, and we've all kind of looked out for each other and kind of come up together in various departments. So it's cool to see, and it's very cool to have the support of everybody on this that's jumped in and joined in. And it was awesome just being on set at the Pine Box with everybody who came out, because we had other filmmakers that we hadn't worked with before who were just like, this project seems awesome, we want to come help out. So yeah, it was a great experience, and looking forward to getting back to shooting more. November 17th at Bar 13, our next shoot. Stream comes out on the 15th. Thank you for that, Alexandra. Let's see, what else do we have here? Anthony Noble asks, are you using underground horror punk bands for the soundtrack? And yes, we are. I will discuss the soundtrack real quick before I wrap up for the day and get back to work. We are using underground horror punk bands. We're using, punk bands. We've got plenty of them. We have quite a few female-fronted punk bands on there as well. Obviously, we have to have that Riot Girl kind of spirit on the Barbie soundtrack, on our Barbie soundtrack. So we have a bunch of bands that backed our project. Some are donating already recorded songs, older songs. Some are recording brand new songs to do for this, and let's see. I'm going to forget some because my memory is bad, but I'm going to try and remember and name a few. Some of the bigger ones. The Renfields will be on the soundtrack. We're super stoked to have the Renfields on there. Pogo horror punk from West Virginia, the Renfields. One of the big, I guess, second wave horror punk bands that trailblazed the scene early on. So we're stoked to have them as part of our soundtrack. Also with them, we have, let's see, the Graveyard Boulevard is on there. They are fronted by Ray Franks, who was the guitar player, one of the guitar players from Frankenstein Drag Queens. Worked with Wednesday 13, Frankenstein Drag Queens, would eventually go on to be Wednesday 13 solo band. But yes, Ray and Graveyard Boulevard came and played with us at Hellaware Horror Punk Fest, I think it was last year. They were awesome live, super great guys, and they are writing a new song just for the fucking movie. So cool stuff. Who else do we have on there? I know we have The Galaxy Has Eyes, one of our female-fronted bands, and one of our favorite local bands here. They have a brand new song they wrote for this as well, and I've heard snippets of it, and it's awesome. We had to have a song from Kira and Galaxy on this one. Kira's like our local punk rock super heroine, I guess you would call her, right? Because she's like the, she's our poster child for female-fronted punk in the Philly, Delaware, New Jersey, PA area. And yeah, Galaxy Has Eyes, awesome band. Kira, great energy, super great person, and super. She's like a very. Yeah, go listen to the music. It fits. I'll say that. I'll just leave it at that. They are perfect for our soundtrack and what we were doing. So we had the Antoine Poncelet band, which is kind of like a gothy kind of rock band to give us a little bit of a ethereal, more of a rock sound, a less abrasive punk stuff, and more of a gothy sound. So we have to have some of that in there as well. I know we have Dickie Devil and the Deviants, of course, will be donating a song. Who else? Man, I'm drawing blanks. I know Steph's probably screaming a bunch of names of bands right now. Oh, Dead End Lane, of course. Aaron and Dead End Lane, Aaron and Tyler will be donating a song. We need to have Dead End Lane on there. Again, another one of our female-fronted local-ish bands. They're from Baltimore, Maryland, which isn't too far from us here in Deadsville. They come and play Bar 13 with us a lot. I think they're only like an hour from Bar 13. So Dead End Lane, awesome band, long-running horror punk band, great energy, and always a ton of fun live, and also some great friends of ours as well. So super glad to have them on the soundtrack. Who else? Power Seeker's on there. Yes, we have Power Seeker on there. Cthulhu Martini, I believe, is on there as well. And oh man, I'm drawing a blank. If I forget that your band is on there, I apologize. But yes, feel free to comment if you remember some of the bands as well. It's been a while since we did that perk, and I haven't gone over the list in a while, so my brain is fried from shooting still. Warren Harris, we'll finish with this one. Warren Harris asks, so what's your beef with Pumpkinhead? I don't necessarily have beef with Pumpkinhead per se. I mean, it's Stan Winston's version of Alien, obviously. He was inspired heavily by the Alien and wanted to do something similar. I just found that the creature design was cool enough. It reminded me of Alien, Drool, all that kind of stuff. I mean, but creature was great. The practical effects, the creature was great. I just felt like I went back and watched the movie again recently, and I was just like, man, the first hour is really slow. I mean, the stuff with the witch is cool, but there's a lot of stuff that's just really slow. And I'm just like, man, I forgot that took this long to get to like the shit happening in this movie. So I think the sequels got there a little quicker, maybe. I don't remember. But again, I like the character. I like the creature design. I love Stan Winston, of course. I don't hate the movie. I just feel like, man, that first hour is a long go. That's all I'm saying. It's really kind of boring. when you go back and look at it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes we watch stuff with nostalgia glasses, all right? I go back and watch some stuff nowadays, and I'm like, whew, yikes, that doesn't age well. Fuck. I mean, really, go back and look at all of like Beastmaster and the Conan movies, at how much ape, how much SA is going on in these fucking things. Like every movie, within the first 5 minutes, there's just some barbarians carrying some woman off for some let's go SA time. And you're just like, that's all. I mean, I get it. That's what was going on at the time, back in barbarian days, pirates. That's what they did. They raped and pillaged. I get it. That was part of the R&P. That was you can't have raping and pillaging without the R-ing. I get it. But it's pretty cringy when you go back and watch it these days. So just, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that doesn't age well. I mean, some of the hillbilly stuff is really kind of like cringy, man. Going and watching some of this stuff with the, especially now, like when I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, like it's totally believable. The actors are probably like, but now that I know that, Lance Henriksen is like this classically trained actor and refined human being and all that, and go back and watching it and hearing him, just like, wow, he is like doing a really kind of like borderline offensive impersonation of an Appalachian at this point. That is like, whew. I mean, some of it is like, it's really like, it's like stereotype bad comical at this point. Like it's so old and played out and troped that nowadays we laugh at that shit. It's like a cartoon, some of it, but they were playing it for real back then. That's why it doesn't age well. So that's my problem with Pumpkinhead. All right. That whole first hour is really slow. It does not age well. There's plenty of other movies out there like it that don't age well, but I still enjoyed them back in the day. I don't hate them. I don't, I'm not bashing them per se, but they just don't age well. I mean, again, Deathstalker is one of them. I went back, especially when I found out that my guy Steven Kostanski was remaking Deathstalker. I was like, oh yeah, let's go watch Deathstalker, Maddie. You gotta watch this with all the creatures and stuff. And I put it on, and man, I was uncomfortable in the first couple of minutes. I was like, it was a rough time for women in sword and sorcery movies back in the 80s, Mad. I just gotta explain that. Because even the warrior woman just titties out. Even the chick who was actually capable, who was like swinging a sword, she was like a badass chick in Deathstalker. Her titties were just out, just like when you meet her. She didn't even know she had a cape and like a chainmail panty. It just titties out. They're probably not that helpful in battle. I mean, unless you're distracting the enemy with them, unless you're fighting a bunch of dudes and you're just like, hey, boys, let's battle. And then the dudes are just like, and just slice their head off. I mean, sure, that could be a thing, but no chest plate, just bare titties as a barbarian chick. That's not very practical. So Anthony Noble says, first half of Pumpkinhead is deader than Forrest Whitaker's left eye. Thank you, Anthony. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. Oh, shit. That's fucking hilarious. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I've been on here for an hour now, guys. This was fun. We'll have to do it again soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I had a bunch of people. There's still a bunch of people watching, but I feel like I got to cut it off now and go get some work done. This trailer is not going to finish cutting itself, and I got to talk with some more of the post-production crew to get this thing over, to get some sound effects and some sound design and some scoring done, hopefully soon. We're talking with our friends at Trimingus Studios right now. So, Mark Sorrow. We will be, after I get done, I'm going to listen to I'm going to check out a couple shorts he's done and check out his sound design, and we will see about scoring Amityville Barbi. Got some chase scenes, fight scenes, and some scary shit, maybe even a jump scare. We'll see. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in so much. Really appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good shit. Tag Amityville Barbie. We really appreciate all of the support on the Indiegogo. It's going to continue through production. So feel free to keep sharing all that. There's a bunch of perks up there. We got a couple new ones up. We just shipped out a bunch of perks. So if you bought some of our in-stock stuff, it's on the way. If you want some in-stock stuff, head over to Indiegogo and search Amityville Barbie Continuing Crowdfunder, and you will find us. And you can grab a bunch of cool shit. We have some stuff that's here all ready to go, shipped out, posters, signed posters, T-shirts, and then we have stuff that you can pre-order, like Blu-rays. You can get cool shit like your name in the credits. You can jump on and be an associate producer and get even more cool shit. We got, what else? Some signed props from used on screen. We've got on-screen wardrobe signed. I got to add a bloody crowbar used on screen. That'll be up for sale to one lucky backer very soon. And yeah, you can also adopt some actors. We have a few available. So head over to Indiegogo, check it out, keep spreading the word. Thank you all so much for joining us on this wild ride that is Amityville Barbie. And yeah, stay tuned. This trailer, hopefully, teaser, it's not really a trailer because it's one scene, but it'll be ready hopefully pretty soon, and we'll be able to show you something. And you get your first taste of Jessa Flux's Amityville Barbie in action. All right, thank you guys.